What's up, everybody? This is going to be kind of a long half a tutorial on Phase 6 burst. Um, I'll try to get it done quickly, but last time I recorded this, it was like 50 minutes. So I don't know. We'll just try to blast through everything. Burst Phase 6, there's 6 walls that spawn, and you have to hide behind them as she fires lasers at you. So I've just loaded these 5 walls A, B, C, D, E, going clockwise from the top. There's only 5 places that they spawn, and these are the 5 places. I don't know if you knew that. I didn't know that. I learnt that. So, that's new to me. Anyway, we'll just label them A, B, C, D, and we just travel around the map hiding behind these walls. There are a couple of locations that I moved to, so I moved far right behind A and B. So if the A wall spawns or B wall spawns, I get an instant fire laser. Or I might position behind C, so if the C wall spawns, I get an instant laser. Or I could position behind E and D, so if E and D spawn, I get an instant laser. There are also occasions where I, adjust my position vertically. I might even sometimes stand in front of C or really up high. And yeah, I can adjust my position higher and lower here as well. But for the most part, I'll be standing there, and there as I travel around the map. So I think we'll come back to that in a minute, but for now I want to go over this. So these aren't my 4 most recent sessions, but they're 4 reasonably recent sessions where I've gone back through the footage and literally recorded where the walls spawned for each laser. And yeah, so the first laser spawned in AE, second laser in CD, third laser in C, fourth laser in E, so on and so forth for all of them, and then for each attempt, and then for each session. A couple things you might notice off the bat. If you look at the first laser, there's a repeating pattern. EA, BCD, EA, AE, BCD, AE, BCD, AE, BCD. So there's some sort of pairing the game does, and if you look at the next session, I get a different pairing, ADE, BC, ADE, BC, ADE, BC. I've got ACE, BD, and I've got BC, AD, BC, AD. So this pattern is generated on launch, essentially. I think the game must create some sort of seed when you launch it, and then it uses that seed to generate this pairing, sort of. And then each time you get the each time you get the walls to spawn, it'll spawn the walls that didn't spawn last time. So if AE spawned last time, the next time you run the game, BCD will spawn, and then the next time you run the game, AE will spawn, and then the next time BCD will spawn, and then AE, so on and so forth. If I were to say run it, BCD spawns, and then I versed a song or something, played a couple rounds against a song, and then I come back to the burst, I would still get AE next time. So there's not, I've tried a few different things. I haven't thrown everything I could to break it. I'm sure there's some other jank in the game that can, but I don't know. Potentially, I'm not going to say there isn't. But as far as I can conclude, there's no way to break it. You can 100% predict where these walls are going to spawn if you understand what's going on. And then more than that, I can force an alternating pattern between the A and B walls, which is really what I'm trying to do. Look, alternating pattern, alternating pattern. So on the runs where A spawns, B does not spawn. The runs where B spawns, A does not spawn. And essentially, if I position Rider behind both of them, there's a 100% chance that the first laser is an instant fire. I could, as an alternate to that, I could do an alternating pattern between E and D and position on the left side, or I could just track which doors are going to spawn and position behind whichever door spawns. But that's the basic strategy for the first laser. For the second laser, and for all of the lasers, actually, I can't find, like, here's the totals. So first laser, I got 6A's, 6B's, 6C's, 6D's, and 6E's in my 12 attempts, and because the alternating pattern, right? And then second laser, 5 A's, 4, 5, 5, 4. Third laser, 4, 2, 1, 3, 2. Look, I don't think this is enough to say that with any kind of certainty that certain walls spawn at higher probabilities. I would just assume that the probability is evenly distributed between each wall. Same as here, and these numbers. Like, there are some high and some low numbers in there, but I don't think it's enough. Like, you could do a p-test if you want, but I don't think it's enough. I will actually look at this one in particular, C and D. I have got X's in here, AXs and BXs. What that X means is it was either a C spawn or a D spawn, but because I'm often positioned very high on the right hand side, I can't see the C walls and D walls. So I can see the A wall and the B wall, but I don't like that. So I would have seen one wall, but I wouldn't know where the other wall was. So I know it's not an E. It's either in D or C because they're the only two walls I can't see. But there's not 100% way to distinguish those two because of where the camera was in the footage. So I just put an X. So if you do go through, do give a bit more weight to C and D to compensate for these X's. And especially here 7-7, but there's a lot of X's in a 31 attempt run. So that's the second laser. The third so I kind of break them down. The first laser, the second laser, and then the third through to the seventh laser are kind of the third part of the run. And the other thing that I've noticed is in these last 5 lasers, you can't get 2 lasers in a row. At least I haven't in all of these attempts and all of the other attempts that I didn't record. You can't get 2 in a row. You can get CC here and EE there, 2 in a row between the second and third, but from the third onwards you will not get 2 walls in a row. So once C spawns, we know that fourth laser is not going to be in C, and similarly the fifth laser cannot be in A. So I do use that in the run as well. Last thing before we get into some footage, I recorded the times that I got. This time is essentially me phase skipping to the 6th phase and then beating the 6th phase as fast as I could. My PB for that kind of a challenge is 127. And essentially I just set myself a goal, like get 5 132s in a row or better, get 5 131s in a row or better, and then my actual challenge was to get 5 130s in a row or better, which I still haven't done, and I would dare say you shouldn't go for it unless you have something inside you, maybe like me, that pushes you to do that. It was, I've since given up. Like, I haven't been able to do 5 130s in a row, and I've kind of abandoned that challenge because the thing I want to explain is the difference between 5 131s in a row and 5 130s in a row and 5 132s in a row is really significant. Like don't pick 130 because it's a round number. The seconds really do matter. There's only about 20 seconds in this run for you to optimize. So those seconds make a huge difference. So pick like a number that works for you. And 5 in a row is a really good goal because it forces you to focus on your bad runs rather than your good runs. If you're just trying to get a PB, you're gonna really be grinding for luck and for everything to go perfect. But when you're trying to get 5 in a row, you're figuring out ways to deal with the bad luck and what you could do better in bad situations, which is much more important. So let's jump into some footage. I got some clips to go through. Swap my OBS. Hopefully it appears. Okay. And then we'll just go back to the start of this. Actually, you know what? I want to talk about the phase skip. So just the first time we watch the phase skips, because if you're going if you're going for a 131 a 130 or something, phase skip kind of actually helps to be good at the phase skips. So I just want to briefly go. First skip is right at the start. Second, if you're in English, second skip is when she says play. Third skip is like there's a sound effect here, and the third skip is a set delay after that. It's just a timing thing. Same for the fourth. It's just a timing thing. That wasn't very clean. And then the last skip is right when she says fools. And then right when the camera pans, that's a 30 seconds. If you're at 30 seconds when the camera pans, you're doing good. My best is like the frame where it turns being panning, the frame where it goes 30. If you can, you probably could do better than that. But, as long as you're not losing, half a second, you're fine. And then positioning in the right for this first laser. Hopefully, I don't know what alternation I've got, like what seat I've got here. We'll pause it. All right, so now I remember this run is a BD alternation, so it's BD. This spawn is B and D, and then the next time I run it, I'll get A, C, E. So you can tell that A and E didn't spawn. You can also see C from here, which I didn't realize when I went through all the recordings. But yeah, next laser one on this instance of Furi will be CACE. But yeah, that's a guaranteed laser, guaranteed instant fire. And because I know A is going to spawn next run will be an instant laser as well. Now, I'm going to do something weird here because I'm not paying too much attention, or I'm trying something different. Right at the 57 mark, I usually am positioned over here. I damage boost like this. This wave on the right is going across the stadium, and this wave on the left is going across the stadium, and then this wave is coming down. I usually damage boost and walk over all three. I move down to a low position and start charging dash, and then I'll be behind both A and B. And I'll dash towards the center. Actually, let me go back to the diagram. So for the second laser, you're guaranteed 2 walls spawning, right? And now if there's an even probability for each, we're going to assume that there's an even probability for each wall to spawn. So you've got 10 combinations, A, B, A, C, A, D, A, E, B, C, B, D, B, E, C, D, C, E, C, and then D, E. So 10 combinations, and 7 of those combinations spawn either a wall in A or B or both. So there's a 70% chance by positioning over here, I will get an instant fire laser. But it actually gets better than that because there's also no chance that I have to go all the way to D, right? So I'm positioned very far from D, and if D was the wall I had to get to from over here, it would actually be very difficult. But because 2 walls are spawning, even if D spawns, there's another wall somewhere else. So it's either an instant fire wall, it's the C wall, or it's the E wall. So I watch E. If E spawns, I move over to it, and if E does not spawn, then I know there's a wall in C. Well, there's a wall in C, or I got an instant fire laser. But if I got an instant fire laser, I don't need to worry. That's beyond the ability to react to. Because the laser will actually fire before these even appear most of the time. And so really I'm just reacting to E spawning. If E doesn't appear, I move to C, and if E does appear, I move over to it. And then for the third laser, I want to position behind C anyway, so when E doesn't spawn, I just position for the third laser. And if E does spawn, I move over to it, and then block the laser, go back down behind C. Or I get an instant fire and E spawns, like we might get AE or BE. at which point I start moving to E, but because the laser goes off, because the laser fires, I reroute to behind C. And yeah, that's the second laser breakdown, but it's an important trick because this positioning behind A and B is something that I'm going to, as well as E and D, is something that I'm going to do a lot. So we'll come back to it again and again. I just wanted to quickly explain it before we go back to the footage. Oh no. That wasn't clean. I got a lucky wall in C. I couldn't actually see C spawning from where I was. Now B spawns, and when... Sorry. I'm trying not to pause and play the video while I'm talking because it's ruining the audio on this. When B spawns and the laser fires, I position to the opposite side of the map. And that's because two doors can't spawn in the same spot in a row. So when I'm over here now, there's no way B will spawn, right? E has a 25% chance, D has a 25% chance, right? Because there's no way B spawns, there's only 4 walls that can appear. 25% chance on either of these two adds to a 50% chance. So I call this a 50-50. And essentially I'm positioning for an instant laser, and I'm again watching A. And because A did not spawn, and I didn't get an instant fire, I know the wall is in C. Because it can't be in B. Can't be in B. It's not in A, it's not in E, and it's not in D, so I know it's in C. So I position here watching A. If A doesn't spawn, I go to C. Same as before, but this time it's because B can't spawn twice in a row. This is pretty cool. I got a C spawn, so now I'm positioning above C. Usually, if I was going to take the center position, I would position behind C, but in this situation, C can't spawn, so there's no reason for me to be that low on the map. I position a little bit higher. That way I'm closer to A and E. It's very easy to get to A and E from here. I'm potentially a bit closer to D and B as well, but it's not, it's potentially, yeah, could potentially be easier to route to them as well. But yeah, I'm just positioning a bit higher to be closer to all the doors that can spawn, but I'm not positioning so high that I can't see B and D, right? If I positioned up here, B and D wouldn't be on my screen and it would be hard for me to react. I do occasionally position up here on the last laser for the reason that if A and E were to spawn, I would have a very close distance there. And on the last laser, the next thing I need to do is get to the burst, so I also have a close distance there. So I'm kind of gambling, hoping that A and E spawn, because it would be really good positioning to get to the burst, and then it's a 50-50 that one of those two spawn, unless, after a C spawn, it's a 50-50 that one of those two spawn. And yeah, it's a gamble if it's the only way to get a 130 or something. Like, I won't go for it if I can get a 130 safely. I only get it if I can't. And essentially from up here, if I got a B and a D spawn, it would mess up the run because I can't tell which spawned. That's that. Position a bit higher after the C spawn, but make sure you can see B and D. That was interesting. So again, we're positioning higher. I'm charging the dash, and you could argue that this is the wrong position to charge the dash from. The timing is off, right, with this wave. This wave is going to hit me right at the point that I'm reacting to when the walls spawn. So you can see this wave comes closer, 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 and I release my dash to cross it before I actually know where the wall is. So, you could potentially position further away. That way, you've got more time to react to where the walls is, or you could position closer, damage boost earlier, and then you've got to charge dash from here. But problem is it's right at the on the point in which I want to react to it. It's going to be here right when I want to react to the wall spawning, which means this is not a position I want to be charging dash from. And as a result, this wall hits me. Well, it doesn't actually hit me. I released my dash in the wrong direction, kind of gambling on it. Like if it spawned B, I would have just had been lucky. It spawned D, so the game immediately punished me for this mistake. I would have been better off just taking the hit and losing the charge dash, but I didn't. I make mistakes, and then I view the footage and learn from them, and that's what's made me better at this. Love a C spawn. Yeah, we just restart, phase skip through. Well, all right, so small problem here. If you phase skip phase 6, you actually just end the run. So don't do that because it's not very good practice. This is the second time I've rewatched that footage, and it turns out it doesn't change the alternation, so I'm still going to get ACE spawn this run because the walls didn't spawn in that last run. So even though I got to phase 6 and even through phase 6, the walls didn't spawn, so I didn't change my alternation. So this run is guaranteed to be ACE for that first laser. We hop over 9 of these waves, just walk down into position. We got the ACE, you've seen it for a second. Second laser, again, the third time these two side waves cross over, they meet up over here about the 57-second mark. Take the hit, walk down damage boost, path to C, from C you path to wherever the third laser spawns, and then, yeah, so path to C, from C you go to wherever the laser is. The third laser comes really fast after the second laser, so you do want to be quick. And then we got despawn, so we're going to run over behind. Instant laser, that's nice, back to the middle. Another side spawn, do we run across the map? We do. And then go for the boss. Okay, this is a dead run. I think this is a bug with the phase skip, but essentially there's no way for you to charge boost there. That was again BD, and then we're moving on to the third laser. I'm going to pause it here. Hopefully I do it. Like I really want to, I don't think I do, but I really want to show you the amazing position I found. Take the hit and then walk down, charge boost, charge dash. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. That was a really clean. See, I walked, we'll rewatch that a little bit, but I walked on, I kind of followed this wave down and walked onto it. And from down here, I've got a lot of time before this wave hits me, and that's what I want. I used to position a lot higher, thinking that I wanted to be closer to these walls, but I found myself getting hit by this wave while I was charging dash. Or alternatively, I found myself getting hit by this wave before I could react to where the walls appeared. You might have better reaction time than me. You might be able to position higher. It could be more optimal, but I've just found from experience damage boosting, and then from reviewing the footage, I actually walk on this wave a lot after the damage boost and start charging dash about here. The other thing I've noticed reviewing this footage is you can see C spawn, and you could potentially be watching if C spawns, and if C doesn't spawn, you go to E. I haven't played that way. I'm always watching the E spawn. Anyway, let's continue. I wanna rewatch that little walking along damage boost and then walk down to. Oh no! Messed up. I tried to reroute to C because I must have noticed C as well. Okay, that was actually really interesting. And then we got a C spawn, but I'm standing on the C, so it may be potentially. I actually don't know. Okay, so here we get D spawn, we go over to behind B, we get a B spawn, but I actually don't go over to behind D. And the reason for that is because you don't want to be carting back and forth. Let me go to the middle. You don't want to be running back and forth across this map. Sometimes it can mess you up, and you're still dashing across the map when the laser appears, and then you have to dash to B and D, and then the walls don't appear in B and D, they appear somewhere else, and you've got to duck back somewhere else, and your dash is on cooldown. You really don't want that to happen. The idea is you want to be in this position charging dash, ready to take the 50-50. And then if the 50-50, if you get bad luck on the 50-50, you've got to charge dash to clear distance into the middle of the map somewhere, either C or A, or alternatively from the other side, either E or C. But yeah, you definitely don't want to be dashing there, putting dash from cooldown right as you react, like you're going to lose time. So sometimes instead of going backwards and forwards, I just reset and go to the middle, and then just play from there. Even though I can't get B spawned, I'm still pretty close to all the other positions. And you'll find yourself if I got I just got B, but when you get B into A, that's the worst RNG you can get, because you get a B, you'll run to the other side of the map, and then you get A, which is the furthest wall. So B into A is bad RNG, and D into E is bad RNG because it makes you do those pathing problems. And you've just got to kind of reset sometimes, and I can't tell you exactly when and where and why. It's kind of down to my instinct. I just kind of get a feel for it, and I can't say that this is the optimal play. I may potentially, if I didn't do a huge charge dash up here, I potentially could have done a huge charge dash towards B and made it, but I just chose not to. And yeah, if anything else like that happens, I'll talk about it as well. Okay. It's always nice when E or A spawns on the last laser. A little CQC optimization here, because why not optimize everything? I've started to dash to this side of her in the lead up, because I've found that on the edge of the arena, my dashes can get stopped, like they don't go through for some reason, especially on a 2-hit combo. When I try to dash between the 2 hits of a 2-hit combo, it just doesn't work. And there's no need for me to be on that side of the arena, because I don't need that position to charge boost at the start. I have she takes long enough as it is. So I just position this side. That way I just parry whatever she does and attack her to the wall. You don't have to copy that. It's just I've lost too many runs to janky dashes, and I've started doing it this way. And then yeah, messed it up. Oh, actually, I was going for we can watch that. That was something I was doing. Pretty sure anyway. Yeah, see how she did the 2-hit combo, and I sort of expected the 1-hit combo. Well, I reacted as though it was a 1-hit combo. We're running low on time for me to get a 130. If she did a 1-hit combo and I waited, I potentially could have lost to 130. So I kind of just gambled on her doing the 1-hit combo. Not the best call. But yeah, it's a risk that I tried to take to get a 130. We'll go all the way to the 57. Take the hit, walk down, charge dash, back to E, then we take middle position, go center position, A, back to the middle, E. It can alternate AE, AE, AE. It just can't spawn 2 in a row. I think that's good enough. Let's skip to the last one. I learned some stuff in the very last, my last attempt. Oh, I think it's this attempt. Yep. 57 mark. Take the hit, walk down, charge. Yeah. When that happens, the wall is there and there's a bunch of stuff under it. Just dash behind it, right? Right, dash into the stuff, take the hit, and then move on with your life. Again, despawn, I'm going behind B. We get D into E, which is bad. I've got to double back. Then we get another D into E, another bad RNG. And we're in CQC, I would say 119. It could be a 120 into CQC. You can get a 130 on 117 and a half, almost 118. You can't get a 130 from here, but like you can be 117 and a half. So I'm not far off a 130, but this will probably end up being a 132 had I finished it. But yeah, you got bad RNG there. But not only did I get bad RNG, I also pathed problematically. And I don't know if you saw that. So there's some things that I could have done better. And this is clean. Get to the middle, get behind that wall, and then back to the other side. That's about as good as I could have pathed, potentially. But right for this laser, I'm actually charging dash from a bad position. These waves are going to hit me at an inconvenient time. And you just have to get used to that. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it took time for me to learn this. And I would say that I haven't done all the optimizations to do with the waves. Like, I would say if you can figure out better pathing through the waves and taking the waves into account, you could potentially push this phase further than I have. But essentially, you don't want these waves to hit you while you're charging. So I could either position lower and give myself more time that way. But what I've started to do since reviewing this run is I've started to walk, like as soon as I know this wave is going to hit me, I take the hit. So what I should do here, and I'm not going to do it in this run, but what I should do is walk up to about here, take the hit, like damage boost, and with the invulnerabilities frames, go back standing behind C and charge a dash from there. If I did that, I would be charging a dash from a really high position in the map. Potentially could get an instant fire on the C spawn. But I'm also closer to, I think we just got an E spawn, so I'm closer to D, to A, and to B if they spawn than had I positioned low. So that's probably the more option. You could also position low and charge dash. Again, you get an instant fire on C, but you're further away from A, B, D. But you could potentially have more charge on that dash. It might make the distance. It might make the difference. Can't really tell you, but what I'm doing now is trying to damage boost as soon as I know that it's going to get me, and then move into position charge a dash. With that, then I would have a bit more charge on my dash and whatnot. And then what you'll see me doing here is not that. You'll see me take this hit and lose my charge dash. And it's kind of very fumbly. Ready? Took the hit, lost my charge dash right when I could react. And then the same thing happens again in the very next laser. Positioning behind C, lost my charge dash right when I wanted to move. And then I get bad RNG again. So just to watch that little bit again. That's good. Potentially good. Should be And then, yeah, you can see that this pathing could be better. Not the best. And so I actually ended the session there. Rewatched that run and thought about it. Came to the same conclusion, my current conclusion, and that's when I ran again. Not this clip, sorry. I actually don't know which clip it is. Sorry, that's my playing late at night, my son, or during my son's nap. That's him in the baby monitor. Potentially, this is the run. Yeah, this is the run. Okay. It happens very soon. So again, I'm still in the same instance of Furi, so I'm still getting that ACE alt. Positioning for the second laser. I love it when C spawns on the third laser. That was the trick right there. Love it. Okay, so I go to get the instant C, and then E spawns. Get there in one dash because I have a charge. Okay, so we get a C spawn here, which means I'm getting an instant fire laser anyway. But let's say C did not spawn. What I do here is I walk into these waves right before the walls appear. And then I'm ready to move when I can react to where the walls are. So that's kind of just the idea. Walk into the waves if you're going to get hit by them. Don't release dash if you haven't seen where the walls are. Just take the hit. You're better off taking the hit than dashing in the wrong direction. You could get lucky and dash in the right direction, so I don't know. And then a lot of the optimizations for the waves just come down to intuition, like when I don't go in those wing positions and do a reset back at C, that kind of thing. But for the most part, the general idea is to just go for those 50-50s and take into account that two doors can't spawn in a row. So when you do get a C spawn, you're able to position a little bit higher on the arena. I get one here actually, so I get this spawn for the third laser and I position a little bit higher. Because C's not going to spawn, I know that there's no universe in which I have to somehow dash through C to get behind the wall. It can get a bit messy when you're up high and C spawns because you've got to kind of do it in two dashes, and the waves can make those two dashes a bit convoluted. But in the case that C does not spawn, it's just a better position to have for all of the other four doors. And as a result, I got to A and E in one dash. I slashed down 3 times to open the CQC. I've tried a lot of different things. Don't perfect parry. It's a waste of time. I've tried a lot of different things, and I've just found that slashing her 3 times downwards is the most efficient. Yeah, that's I think everything. Hopefully it helps. Oh yeah, you don't have to copy everything. Work some of it into your run, work all of it into your run. It doesn't matter to me. I just wanted to sort of talk about it, explain it, what I've discovered. Hopefully it improves your times. I think it's a very minimal effort improvement, but it's also a very small time save. So yeah, take it or leave it. That's all I have to say.